Hey guys, I'm going to show you how to use a GEM 5000. I'm going to take a reading on an old Landtec AccuFlow well. This is well 65. It's a little hard to see here, but in your GEM on your ID screen, we'll scroll through until you find well 65, which I already have it selected for us. So you'll hit your enter button, which is a little arrow in the bottom right hand corner. Alright, your GEM will go through a clean air purge for a moment. So while you do that, you have the ability to hook up your hoses, which you have a static pressure and an impact pressure hose. Make sure on both of these you have a charcoal filter, and also make sure you have a water trap. Take these off. A little difficult doing this one-handed here. Your impact, your static pressure, and you also have a temperature port. I'm going to use an old Landtec temp gauge. Alright, so in your GEM, after you've selected your ID and you go through the clean air purge, you can hit your gas readings. The GEM will tell you to make sure all your hoses are connected, which they are. And you'll click the next button. I have my flow set on about 120 seconds, so about 2 minutes. You don't have to wait the entire 2 minutes. If your readings, once they kind of stabilize and they aren't moving, you can go ahead and lock those readings in. You're looking for your CH4, which is your methane, your carbon dioxide, which is your CO2, and your O2, which is your oxygen levels. Compliance readings, you don't want oxygen over 5%. Obviously, the lower the better. This well right now, methane's around 46.5, CO2's about 37.5, and your oxygen's right around 0.3%, so that's pretty good. So we'll go ahead and hit the next button, and you'll take your gas readings. Then it's going to ask you for your initial flow. Alright, it's negative 18.02. We'll stick with that reading. We'll hit next. And then it wants to know what the temperature is reading inside of the well. So for that, our temp gauge. This well is around 70, 75 degrees. So 750 and enter. Hit next. It's gonna register that, then you'll do your adjusted flow. We're not going to make any changes on this, but on this screen right here, this is where you would turn your turn this to either open or close the well, whether you want more methane or you want less O2. But for this, we're going to leave it steady where it's at. It's a pretty good reading. I'm going to type 75 in, hit enter, and then it takes you to the next screen. This is where you take your system pressure. So we're going to take the static pressure hose here, the one with our water trap, and put it on the the system pressure sample port. You'll see that number comes up substantially, and it's pretty steady there at negative 36.86. So we're going to hit next on that, lock it in. Pressure readings will store, and then you go to your question screen. Every GEM has different questions in it, depending on the software you're using. You can go into your program settings and you can create your own questions. I have mine here, whether I had no change, whether I had to open or close the valve, and things of that nature, which you can go in and customize those. But for this one, we had no change. So we're going to click no change. And we're gonna hit exit. We did not have a pump on here, so we don't need to use selection 2. And then it's going to ask you to store it. So you just want to make sure you take one final glance, make sure everything looks right. Then you want to store it. Alright, once it's stored, don't take any of your hoses off until you hit next ID, because there is a good chance that you could get a reading that could fluctuate either your static or your differential pressure. So before you do anything, taking all your hoses off, make sure you hit next ID. It'll take you back to your ID list. Then you can go about taking your hoses, temperature gauge out, and take pressure out. Then get your caps back on. And that is basically it. That's how you use the GEM 5000.